your name, number, and a detailed message.
Okay, I'm calling Marion County Child Protective Services, and it's going to straight to a voicemail. A whole Child Protective Services. They don't return my calls. I didn't record it, but my phone was playing games. When I tried to get the number, it does not give me contact numbers, and then I have to play games to fight to get numbers with my phone. This is Cass County CPS. They still don't want me. This is multiple different CPS locations that I cannot speak with a live person.
Otherwise, please hold for an operator.
Okay, let's see what's going on now. The operator's not available.
At the tone.
Years. It's not on accident. It's on purpose.
For more options.
Yes, can I have the sheriff's office?
This is sheriff's office.
Oh, okay. Now you may I have your position?
Dispatch.
Oh, okay. Can I speak with the officer or sheriff?
Don't know that I have one in the building. Can I help you with something?
Yes. I spoke with Roy Barker. And I reported some crimes about the police coming and interrupt me having access to my son and gave me a criminal trespass and multiple conspirators and interference with child custody. So I have a question. The CPS in Cass County would handle that, right?
With child issues?
Right, with crimes against the child or abuse of a child?
Well, it would be CPS and us.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay, where would the CPS be located if the incident occurred in Cass County?
The local CPS office is in Atlanta.
Okay, and with that, what location is that? Is that Cass County CPS?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I have a question. So this woman used to terrorize me routinely multiple times a day and multiple times a week and tell me that I was going to lose my son as well as my daughter and taunt and violate me. So I reported that to Roy Barker, and he claimed that she was a real CPS worker but had no office or phone number, no way to reach her. It was the oddest thing before COVID. So I went to Cass County CPS, and I tried to report this woman and all the abuse that from my son and the interference with child custody crimes, and they denied me services. Cass County CPS. They did confirm that this woman was a real CPS worker, but she was not at office. So I reported, I went to Tyler, and then this same lady got caught in lies. She said that she had a state-issued cell phone and didn't have a CPS office. So when she got caught in lies, Zapata or something was his name, all these people they have raises. Like Scott was an officer, now she's a corporal. This man got a raise too. And in fact, in one of my videos, a man was getting a raise in the middle of committing a crime. So some kind of way, a multitude of staff have raises and now corporals and got all this advancement. But anyway, are you covering for a crime, ma'am? This is extreme, ma'am. You're hanging up the phone. You're hanging up the phone. So the Tyler Police Department, my phone's malfunctioning. She hung up the phone. So the Tyler Police Department, let's call them. They're just as crazy in person. They would assault and arrest and threaten. She didn't want me to say that this officer gave me a criminal trespass from the police department when they were caught in crimes.
Police and fire, this is going. How can I help you?
Yes, I have a question about a criminal trespass I got there from the police department.
Okay, you're warned away from where?
The police department.
Oh, here?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I give you my information? Because I need records to see if I can get them.
Okay. Well, let me transfer you to your records. Hold
Ma'am.
Yes.
I want to know about the criminal trespass, ma'am.
Okay, and I asked you, what's your name, please?
It's Kiana. You still there, ma'am? Hello?
Hold on, ma'am. I'm trying to get that pulled up. So
okay, no problem.
With me, please.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So while you look for that, ma'am, see, a multitude of people would start arguments. CPS workers, family members, and my family members were crying and having meltdowns, starting arguments. Police would come out, remove me from hotel stays, and it was just a lot of chaos going on. And I don't know why the CPS worker with no definitive location would call me and terrorize me multiple times a day. And I told her that there was conspiracy to violate civil rights crimes and multiple parties conspiring to sabotage my rights as a parent, but she only tormented me and bullied me repeatedly. So I came in and then told the officer that this worker was harassing me, and it didn't make sense for her not to have a definitive location she was working out of. Then the worker got caught in a lie, and he gave me a criminal trespass as if he was covering for her. Harassment is criminal, and if someone is sadistic enough and psycho to have a multitude of parties call, abuse their power, and violate me and start arguments, so I'll be consistently in an avenue of emotional distress for years, and nothing is done. In fact, my daughter's stepmom has done the same thing, call and started arguments, lying and saying my daughter was missing. Are you there? Were you interrupting me reporting the crimes, ma'am? My phone is malfunctioning. I'm trying to... Okay, are you there, ma'am?
Yes, I'm right here. So what's your date of birth?
You were looking for it all that time, but you need my date of birth?
I was having my computer locked up, so now I was able to access it. What's your date of birth, please?
Oh, okay. I was telling you about the emotional distress my family has been through and the schemes to keep me in a constant state of terror. But my date of birth? So you need my social or driver's license number?
Yes, to verify you're the person that you're talking about.
Oh, yes. I think that if the government has enlisted me to speak with scammers giving sensitive information, something definitely needs to be done. But I can give it to you just to get a report number? Okay.
No, ma'am.
The report information, I'm not quite sure why you need the social. No, ma'am. I don't want to hold, ma'am. Ma'am. Okay, what do you need the social for?
I said either your social or your driver's license number to verify you're the person that you're
trying
to figure out about the criminal trespass.
Okay.
The way back in 2019.
Okay, so did they do anything with why was their reporting harassment and crimes? What other things do you show?
Okay, so if you need any copy of whatever you have been...
Okay, hold on. Let me make sure I understand. So you show where I was warned away, but you refuse to tell me anything about the crimes I was there reporting. You just want to hone in on the criminal trespass, as they've done years.
Okay. If you're not going to give me a chance to talk to you, or at least...
I just called, ma'am, to ask you about the reports.
All right, hold on, please.
Are you trying to start an argument to sabotage my ability to get the reports, information on the reports, as you've done years? So they're better since I'm recording, but this is supposed to be psychologically abusive. We have a man that gets gratification out of torturing people. Hello? So he takes pleasure from it. So he schemes to cause emotional distress. And the government is enlisted in causing it, as well as a multitude of other conspirators.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up
So
or
another
press
voicemail.
pound for more options.
With no name, as it's been years. They don't return my calls. This is Tyler Police. All police departments conspire. It's a conspiracy.
Fire Department, this is Stephanie. May I help you?
Yes. What's the procedure with getting information updates on crimes that you report? I did this long, drawn out report of getting tortured. And I never had an investigator call me back with one officer. Then I came back and was reporting a multitude of crimes I experienced daily. And then some kind of way, after that report, the officer that I took the report, Zapata, I think do you have a Zapata?
That's a detective.
What's his name? Is it?
Zapata.
Okay, so what's his position now? He went from officer to a detective?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so anyway, he gave me a criminal trespass, but he forgot to do an investigation for the crimes I was there reporting, as well as this long, drawn out. I spent a lot of time with detail. So some kind of way, I wasn't able to get an update on all these crimes I was reporting because I was blacklisted and denied law enforcement and get a criminal trespass, which was clear cut in obstruction of justice. For someone to be insane enough to obstruct justice to give me a criminal trespass during me reporting crimes. I've seen more insane events. So here's the thing. We never addressed the crimes I was there reporting by this criminal trespass. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. So are you wanting to talk to records and do an open records request on the things that you have reported to see what's going on?
Okay, so now all law enforcement has changed the complete policy period for just me. Now, for me, you can no longer get records or information and updates, investigator information, period, nowhere on the planet. Now, for just me, you have to get records, and then they sabotage and lie and deprive you of records. So the United States has changed this whole policy all over the United States to now you can no longer get any information, investigation information, period, at all when you're me. The only way you can find out about your reports now if you're me is to get records that you never get. That's the procedure now. Now you can no longer call on the phone and say, ask to speak with a detective, get an update. If you're me, you're deprived of that constitutional right altogether. You have to get records to see who your detective is, to get updates. That's the only way possible.
With the question that you asked me when you initially called, yes. But I never said anything like you just said.
Well, all police departments, ma'am, they deprive me of records, all of them, and then don't want me to get any updates on the reports, including child abuse. So if you're depriving me of the information and updates on my reports, you're depriving me of law enforcement.
So I don't know about other police departments.
Okay, well, this one, ma'am, I'm asking you, you saw that I have the criminal trespass, you saw that crime, but how is it that everything else is hid for years? That is obviously criminal activity. If you're depriving me of my any records and information and updates on these reports, you're committing a crime, obstruction of justice. You don't want me to know the status.
No, we're not. Miss Clark, no, we're not. So I'm going to transfer you to Sergeant Bullman. Hold on just a second.
I mean, if you can do all of this before nothing. How many patterns equal in the rest? So Sergeant Bullman, I've left multiple messages. I wrote him a letter saying because I was criminal trespass from the police department.
Brian Bowman is not available. Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more.
Department of Health and Human Services.
Do you have anyone, if I ask to speak with Child Protective Services, is there anyone in the office at all in that department?
Yes.
So would I be transferred to a voicemail?
Hold on.
Okay. This is Cass County Health and Human Services, supposedly.
Protective Services, Michelle.
Child Protective Services, Michelle. Okay, can I give you my information and you look up my information?
I don't know. Can I have a seat? Hang on just 1 second.
Okay.
What's your name?
It's Kiana, Keyana. Last name Clark. I'm sorry?
Say it again. What's your last name?
Clark, Clark. It was supposedly in Cass County. I'm not sure what it's supposedly in Cass County.
Okay, is this your phone number you're calling from? This 469?
You there? Is there something
I'm
wrong?
gonna write your number down.
Okay, is there something wrong with you looking in the system?
I can't. I'm not at my computer. I'm at another desk.
Oh, you're not at your computer. They haven't been at their desk. Well, can I ask you some questions while I have you on the line?
Yeah, or if you want me to, I can go to my desk and I can call you right back from my phone.
That would be good too. But for right now, while I have you on the line, what is the procedure if there's an investigation done?
I don't work investigations. I work with family-based safety services. But as far as I know, if somebody calls in an intake on you, then the investigator comes out and they're supposed to talk with you about that intake and try to see if there is validation to the intake. If there's not, then they normally close it.
Okay.
If they think there's validation, then they work with you to try to see if you need any other services.
Okay, so if there is so do the state ever just take it on their hands, judges, without a CPS investigation, just take a parent's custodial rights away with no CPS investigation? Or do they do a CPS?
That I don't know about.
You don't know?
I've never heard of that, but I don't know the answer to that because I don't work investigations.
I've never heard of it either, ma'am. I don't think anyone has heard of it. Okay, so ma'am, I have another question, just one moment. Okay, so if you report child abuse to CPS, if you report child abuse, do they give that party that reported the child abuse a conclusion?
If the case is closed out, normally there's a generic letter sent out that says thank you for your contact, and we're checking on this investigation, or the case has been closed.
Oh, okay, because I've had 30-something reports. I had 30-something reports, and they didn't want me to have evidence. See, what happened was a long time ago, I kept evidence, and it showed corruption. So now a multitude of parties don't want me to have any evidence of my reports, which I thought was still criminal. So for like 30-something reports, they don't want me to have evidence, so there's no evidence of their crimes. So they will not give me any paperwork, period, which I thought was a crime. I, didn't think that you had a choice. But they won't give me any paperwork, period, for a multitude of reports, almost 30-something. So, yes, you can call me back when you get to your computer. How long would that be, ma'am?
It's less than a minute. I just have to walk down the hallway.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Bye. Yes. Michelle with Child Protective. Okay.
Now I'm going to see what I can do to help you.
Okay, how long you been working there?
I've been working for 7 years, not in this, but I don't work in investigations, so I don't know their procedures.
Okay, because your voice sounds familiar. I came in, so we'll see. I try to keep inventory of the voice, people I speak with.
Yes, sir, and I'm not from Cass County either, so I normally don't work here, but I'm here
Okay,
now.
well, I could be mistaken. Yes, that's why I'm asking you what you see.
Okay. I'm trying to see. My computer's running slow. I don't know why.
It's running slow? Okay.
It is.
Okay.
Let me see if I can look somewhere else.
Okay, do you need my date of birth? You don't see my name?
I don't, but that doesn't mean it's in here because I can't see it. So let me look somewhere else.
Okay, you didn't ask for my date of birth?
No, ma'am, not yet.
Okay.
No, ma'am, I don't want that yet.
Okay. So, I don't know what's going on, but here's the thing. If I give you my name, wouldn't it populate all events?
Sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't on my end because I don't have access as much as
no one has had access, ma'am, for years. That's why I told you that I haven't got records for like 30-something reports. No one has had it. And that's what I'm just trying to get to the bottom of, why no one on the planet at a multitude of CPS locations are following procedure and no evidence can be found nowhere. So I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it.
Has your name, let me ask you this. Did you get a letter from somebody from CPS?
I just want you to look in your system and see if you can find it, ma'am, and then we can go from there.
I don't see your name at all.
Okay, so can you go over the spelling of it?
Kenaya.
Key.
Keyana.
ANA.
That's what I did. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. And then Clark is CLARK.
Right.
Okay. Let's try it again.
I'm not pulling up at all? You still didn't get my date of birth.
Nope.
Can you use a social or anything else?
It didn't ask me for that, but I can try your date of birth. What's your date of birth?
Okay, can I give you the child's name?
Yes, ma'am. Let's try that way. Let me see.
Yes.
Is his birthday?
Okay. So the only person you see, I'll give you another name since you weren't able to find my name, but you were able to find my son's name.
I found it now.
Okay, good.
It now through him.
Okay.
I see closed case. I don't see anything open.
Okay, what date is that, ma'am?
2019.
Okay, 2019. Did you want to give me like a specific date?
The only one I see there's 5/27/19. There's an intake on that day, but I don't see an investigation.
Okay, who did the report? Was it against me or did I report someone?
It doesn't give me that part.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. I have called CPS. And you see information and you don't know if it was against me or another party?
I can't see that part on my
Okay, wait a minute. Let me break this down. I just have to understand. So CPS is hiding where the complaint was, whether it was me or if I did a complaint against another person?
No, ma'am. CPS is not. What I'm saying is there's different stages within CPS. So
ma'am, there's been excuses for years. So you see my son 5/27/2019, which I did not have access to my child.
I see your name.
So what happened, ma'am?
What do you mean what happened? Miss Clark, you're not listening.
Okay, so where do I go? Because for years, no one has had answers. In fact, committed crimes. Interference with child custody is a crime. Now, reported suspected child abuse is a Class A misdemeanor. In some circumstances, a felony. And multiple CPS staff have been involved in that felony crime.
Are you going to let me talk to you about it?
You apparently don't have answers like they haven't had for years, but what would you like to talk to me about, ma'am?
Well, you called me. I mean, you called want to talk to me. So I'm telling you what I see. You're getting hostile with me, and I
I don't
have
understand why you're condoning multiple CPS
I'm gonna
workers
hang up.
conspiring with a felony crime, ma'am. Why would you hang up? She hung up.
Operation.
This is youth?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, may I have your name?
This is Officer Kim.
Oh, good. So what's the procedure for reporting interference with child custody crimes and the investigation for that?
Okay, so you would just need, is it for you?
Yes.
So you would just need your documentation, and you can go to either the closest substation and do the report, or...
I have a report. I have multiple different reports.
Okay, so you have different reports?
Multiple for years.
Okay, what's your name, ma'am?
It's Keyana, Keyaana, Clark, Clark.
Okay. What's the latest number?
Let me get that for you. Can I ask a question? If you don't want, it's been impossible for me to get records online, and how can I get records in person?
So you can come down and ask to speak with someone in our open records.
For CPS? I'm sorry, for CPS?
Open records.
For CPS?
Now CPS records, you'd have to go through CPS for that.
Okay, they don't want me to know, ma'am. They don't want me to know since you're in youth. I don't understand why a multitude of parties don't want me to know the records and the reports, because not reporting suspected child abuse is criminal. In some a class A misdemeanor, in some circumstances a felony. You're a detective, so you're aware of that? Or you're an investigator? I'm on hold. So they probably want to get Detective Perez on the phone to enforce crimes. That's the one who's been taunting and violating to enforce these crimes. It's all networked together for corruption. Oh, I mean, this is some kind of power. I mean, every abuser's dream come true. How many abusers have the government enforce their abuse? Enlist the government to terrorize, enforce, and violate that party for you. I've never heard of it. Where law enforcement enforces your abuse. So here's the thing: the abuser's is jealous of my kids, so he has the power to abuse. So they want to taunt and enforce and make it sting for me to have access to my kids. Then he has shows off his kids. He's sadistic. So they want, like I said, they want to make it hurt. So they're playing games in youth. Police headquarters won't answer the phone. Let's see if they answer today. For months. They're not answering the phone.
South Central Patrol Officer Wachowski, how may I help you?
Hello. I'm sorry, what was your badge number?
This is Officer Wachowski, South Central Patrol, 8752. How may I help you?
Yes, for interference with child custody, I seem to have fallen through the cracks like for years, for like 100 and something reports. So for the interference with child custody, that is like a crime with a child?
Yes.
So who handles that?
The court.
Okay, so for interference with child custody and reporting that crime, you have to go through the court to report that crime? Everywhere I see, it's the police department. You didn't know that?
We filed the report. The report gets routed to the detective. The detective gives it to the court, and the person that's petitioning the interference with child custody has to contact their lawyer or go to the court, petition the court, and let the court know that this individual has...
You sound like the one that came over. Remember, you came over, and then y'all said that you forgot about the interference with child custody I was reporting? Someone lied and said that I was having a mental breakdown?
Ma'am, I do not know.
Yeah, you don't remember? I think you almost slipped. Another time a supervisor came out. I gave you all the information and paperwork. I told you I didn't want to speak with the supervisor, and the supervisor came out anyway.
Yes, but I vaguely remember, but how can I help you?
Okay, so I don't understand why police are bullying me. Obviously, I'm going through a lot reporting interference with child custody. And psychological abuse is abusive narcissistic abuse to torment, intimidate someone, and violate them, trying to report crimes and begging for their life, as what's happened years. So when you came, I'm glad you were all right when you tripped, but I told you I didn't want to speak with the supervisor. You looked at all the paperwork. Then another time, the social worker was called out. So who told you I was having a mental crisis?
I'm not understanding I don't understand.
I have it on my YouTube channel. Let me give you the channel so you can look at it so it can refresh your memory.
I'm not good. I don't have YouTube here, ma'am. How can I help you?
Okay, well, I'm trying to refresh your memory because you guys said that someone told the social worker to come out and that I was having a mental crisis. And I'm not aware of how you would know that if I was not at home at a domestic violence location. Stalking is a crime. And hacking my devices to control, listen, and monitor, that is criminal. So I'm not quite sure how you would have evidence that I was in a mental crisis and I wasn't at home. Would you like to tell me how you had that knowledge?
Ma'am, no due respect, I don't know what you're talking about. Where are you calling from?
You said that I can refresh your memory by the YouTube channel. Tamper with evidence is a felony. So the reason why I derived the YouTube channel is because you guys kept committing crimes. So I had to record your criminal activity. Since you kept tampering with evidence, denying investigation for 100 and so reports all over, then I got the YouTube channel. So now I have all the evidence on the YouTube channel. Now you're committing a felony crime of tampering with evidence and don't want to review the information, the videos, which is vital evidence, which is criminal. So some kind of way you called a Metro Care caseworker out, the same one that bullied me when I finally got out because I was terrified for my life and I wouldn't go anywhere. So I finally went to the lake on a Sunday. She gave me this real small TV, and on that Sunday, I went to the lake and enjoyed myself. She asked for the TV back. She would call me and start arguments and refuse to report my abuse, assist in any way. She'd call and taunt me and say that she was helping other people with their domestic violence situation, crisis, but wouldn't help me with mine. So anyway, to make a long story short, you guys came out and I never did get clarification on what the mental crisis was and how you would know that. And I hadn't spoke to you about it, or you wouldn't have any prior knowledge of a mental crisis. But in that incident, you forgot that I was reporting interference with child custody, which is a state jail felony, and left in the middle of me reporting that. And then you spoke to the supervisor, called the supervisor out. I showed you clear-cut evidence of it. In some kind of way, 100 and something reports all over for hits and runs, interference with child custody, child abuse all over the planet, attacks, robberies, guns pulled on me, assault with a deadly weapon, all kinds of things that none has not been investigated. Gang stalking. So Trevino, since we had, in interaction before, can you look up this information and see what you did with me reporting a multitude of crimes to you? It sounds like you need to refer this over to the FBI, Trevino. I don't know why police departments bully me like that. Using intimidation tactics to violate someone is criminal. You don't abuse powers to enforce criminal activity on citizens. But some kind of way it's not been investigated for years by a multitude of departments. Trevino, are you there? Are you tampering with evidence again, Trevino? You plead the fifth? You got to see it to believe it. So you mean to tell me they get to, CPS gets to commit crimes, all these heinous crimes, and nothing is being done for years, just felonies racked up left and right, enticing to the degree of insanity, enticing citizens to take the fall for crimes. Social workers, people at stores, people at Metro PCS crying, involved in schemes, slander, enticing people. It is a crime to set someone up and use your power to have a person lie and set someone up like they did at Salvation Army. Police came there and forced Salvation Army staff to lie and scheme with them to detain me on false pretenses. That's criminal. That's why they want to investigate it. No consequences, none whatsoever, for an extreme amount of corruption before COVID-19 that showed that a multitude of people were mentally ill and needed treatment. And none has been rendered for a multitude of people that are running the government. So here, once again, we have these petty games. Since they are getting caught in crimes that they've been doing years with no consequences, they plead the fifth and don't want to talk. By law, you don't have the right to be quiet and not talk because you don't want to incriminate yourself. And you're law enforcement and someone's checking on reports that incriminated you. So you just decide in your mind, I'm not going to speak, like Denitra Brown at 255th District Court. I don't have to speak with you because it will incriminate me, so I'm not talking. And they don't. These CPS scammers in person, they can't get their story straight, so they call security or the police to enforce crimes. So here's the thing. This is what they do because, like I said, the bully don't like me to have access to my child because he's jealous and he's running the government. When are they getting their felonies?
Then first to try to solve the problem. For example, if you have a complaint about Medicaid or SNAP eligibility, please call 211.
This is supposed to be an ombudsman.
SNAP food benefits.
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
I've called for a long time, and this is my first time speaking with a live person. Odd enough?
Oh, hello, I'm sorry. Do you have your case number, your social?
Okay, I can give you my social. It's not. I'm not happy to have to give my number and my information to scammers repetitively, but
I was giving it to me. Do you have your case number?
I was giving you the information, and you interrupted me.
I'm sorry. No. You said you don't want to give.
I'm giving you the information, and you're arguing with me while I'm trying to give you the information. What did I call? Hello?
We value your feedback to improve
They sent me to a survey. This is ombudsman. I was on hold. Look at how long I was on hold. 10 minutes.
A rating scale of 1 through 5, with 5 being strongly agree and 1 being strongly disagree.
This, my dear, is how identity theft is done.
For the Texas Department of
By
Family
default,
and
I've had to
Protective
find out.
Services. To continue in English, press 1.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
Or your Medicaid ID.
I'm sorry?
Can I have your case number or your Medicaid ID? My name is Tajim.
Okay, you want the Medicaid ID?
Your case number or your Medicaid ID.
Okay, for calling a ombudsman for making a complaint on Health and Human Services?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I don't have a Medicare ID. It's for the child abuse. I'm reporting Child Protective Services.
Sorry?
I'm making a report for caseworkers for Child Protective Services.
For Child Protective Services.
Right.
Okay. A moment. Can you give me your first name?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
It says C-O-A-R-K. Is that your last name?
No. C-L-A-R-K.
Okay. Give me a moment.
Okay. I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Your last name is spelled as S for Sam, L for leg, A for apple, R for Romeo, K for cat. Is that
C
correct?
as in cat. I've experienced this years, even in person. C as in cat. And then all the rest of them are right. C-L-A-R-K. Everything in person, on the line, even at stores, everything is long and drawn out. At work. Do I have pen and paper? Okay, you got my name, and then you're asking me if I have pen and paper?
I'm going to give you a phone number to call.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. So I've been on hold a long time. Did something come up with my name?
I'm going to give you a number to call.
Okay, I'm not quite sure what's happening. Why are you giving me a number to call now that you got my name?
I have to put your information on my system first.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. I called ombudsman and I was on hold 2 times. So since I have called and you got my name and you only got my name to redirect me to call another number?
I need to get your name first before I can give you any information. And that's what I did.
Okay, so you got my name. So when you got my name and pulled up something, is that what you're stating?
I need to give you a number to call.
I'm not quite sure what happened because I called an ombudsman. And then you got my name, and instead of telling me any information, you're redirecting me to another number, as with the game's years?
Yeah, when you call this number, depending on what you are calling about...
we didn't discuss what I was calling about. You just got my name? And you had a hard time getting my name? As for years?
This is the number you need to call, 800...
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. So since I called, I just want to make sure I have clarity, sir. So since I called, you pulled up my name, and then when you pulled up my name, it told you to give me another number?
When you call this office, you take the information of the person you are speaking with. Based on what you are calling about...
You didn't get that information, sir? You didn't get it yet? You just got my name and told me to call another number? You have no clue why I'm calling?
Because you are calling about CPS.
Well, then why did you get my name? You got my name? And you had a hard time getting it?
Okay, I got your name, and you are calling about CPS. I need to give you the number to call to file your complaint against CPS. We do not have decision on...
Hello?
Gather your feedback to improve our services and appreciate you taking a minute to complete our survey.
They wouldn't even answer the phone. It went straight to a voicemail. I'm not allowed to report
Rate
CPS.
scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being strongly agreed.
Giving
and
my
1
social
strongly
sensitive information to these scammers for
sorry.
years. I couldn't get out of it. The police come and interrupt, forcing me to talk to these con artists. Knowing full blown, well, no one would ever believe my story. Then when I started to record it so people can have evidence of the things that I've been reporting for years, they send someone to the sober living place, steal a tablet there, the one that I was forced to live in with no drug addiction. Then in court, entice someone, a bailiff, to steal the tablet. Then knowing full blown, well, no one would ever believe it. And then put me out the court for noticing and reporting it. So they're not going to allow me to report it, which is obvious criminal activity that has been unaddressed for years. You see it for yourself. You have a responsibility. Not reporting suspected child abuse is a Class A misdemeanor, in some circumstances a felony, and it's clear cut these people are insane, and it also endangers your life as well. People that aren't mentally stable do not need to continue running the government, as I tried to address before COVID.